Many years ago, I thought making baked macaroni and cheese was really difficult. I'd make up my own recipes. Sometimes I put eggs in it or I'd use that cheese that's not really cheese, and it wouldn't come out the right consistency. I finally got some good advice on how to make some really good creamy baked macaroni and cheese. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Welcome to Lornas.Cookin. I'm Lorna. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Baked macaroni and cheese, well, at least to me, is the real deal. I do eat the non-baked kind that's cooked on top of the stove, but it's something about that baked macaroni and cheese and the creaminess and the crust that's on the top, on the edges, that's just so delicious. I must admit, I am one of those. I don't like my macaroni and cheese real loose and wet. I do like it creamy and I do like it cheesy, but I do like it on the stiffer side. You may be wondering, what are the good cheeses to use for baked macaroni and cheese? I would suggest to always use sharp cheddar. Now you can use a combination of all the other cheeses that I'm going to mention, but sharp cheddar has that punch to it. So when you're using the milder cheeses, it helps with that. It also melts really well. So that's why I would suggest to always have sharp cheddar in the mix of whatever cheeses you choose. Now the other cheeses I would suggest would be Munster, Monterey Jack, Gouda, Havarti. I love Havarti. Anyway, let's see, Gruyere, that's also a good one. So you can use any of these cheeses or a combination of them and it will come out great. All right, enough of that. It's time to make the 3-cheese baked macaroni and cheese, at least how I do it. For this recipe, I'll be using 1 pound, which is 16 ounces of elbow macaroni noodles, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, salt, 8 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of ground black pepper, 4 cups of whole milk, 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese, 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese, and that's shredded, 4 cups of shredded sharp cheddar. Shred a little extra sharp cheddar cheese and a little extra Monterey Jack to go on top of the casserole. I preheated my oven to 375. I spread butter on the inside of the pan so that it won't stick once it's cooking. The first thing I did was put water in a pot that was large enough to hold the 16 ounces of noodles. Then I put about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of salt in the water and let it come to a boil. While that was coming to a boil, the water was coming to a boil, I put the 8 tablespoons of butter in a skillet and began to melt the butter. While the butter was melting, I placed my microwave-safe container of milk in the microwave. I microwaved for about 2 minutes and then I stirred it. I microwaved for about another minute or 2, just until the milk became really warm. After the butter is melted, I sprinkle the flour in the pan. Now I sprinkle and I whisk at the same time to try to avoid having any lumps. After the butter and the flour became a smooth paste, then I slowly poured and whisked at the same time the milk in the pan. And you keep whisking it until it just really comes together. Once the flour, butter, and milk mixture thickens just a little, take it off of the stove and add your cheese. Also add your salt and your pepper. After the noodles have drained, I put them in the cheese sauce and then I mixed it very well. After the ingredients are mixed together, pour half of the mixture into your baking pan. Sprinkle a little bit of the sharp cheddar, the Monterey Jack, and a little bit of mozzarella on the top of this layer. Add the remaining of the noodles and cheese on top of the layer, and then spread more sharp cheddar, Monterey Jack, and mozzarella on top of that. Spread foil on top of the pan to make sure that it has a little bit of a dome so the cheese won't stick to the top of the foil. This is so delicious. It's cheesy, it's creamy. It came out just right. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. And don't be afraid to be creative with it. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.